sports, home of the Olympic Games, the Premier League, NASCAR, the PGA Tour, and Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, man. Can't lose, that's one.
Showtime.
It's a broad moment right here.
Prime time.
Sunday Night Football, that's what's on the board.
Let the games begin.
Do not relax.
Prime time Sunday right now. Let's go. Fire it. Pass. Intercepted. Done. To the end zone.
The Giants will make it to the postseason. Dave Hopet's the Gatorade back.
I will not lose. This is my moment. You will not forget. This is for his
32 retired.
in the future. The top is my target.
Ravens defense does it again.
Touchdown. Mike Evans has 2 today.
Do it again.
Evan, under man, makes the cut.
Let the games begin. Showtime. Time. Let the games begin.
He's back now.
There's just nothing like this rivalry.
I was born to win. It's showtime. Like prime time. It's showtime.
Don't be nervous, Chris. It's just week 17, which means it's Pittsburgh-Baltimore week, and John Harbaugh and the Ravens have already sealed their spot in the playoffs and know that if they win their final 2 games, they'll win the AFC North and host postseason football. Now, thanks to Miami's loss in New England earlier, Mike Tomlin and the resurgent Steelers are still in playoff contention, but they need to win out, and that obviously starts tonight to have a chance of getting in. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. We hope that you were able to ring out the new year with your friends and family. I know I spent it watching my alma mater like almost lose, but making it to the national championship, so we're still celebrating here. But besides that happening yesterday, let's talk about it being Steelers-Ravens week and what that means. When I just say the rivalry game, what comes to mind, Coach?
Physical football. NFL teams get 14 padded practices. No one practices in pads in December. Mike Tomlin saved his 14th practice for Friday of Ravens week because it's going to be physical.
It will be physical. One of the best rivalries in all of football. 2 of the best franchises in all of football. They have elite ownership, supportive, stable, elite personnel departments, and elite head coaches in John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. They faced each other 32 times in the course of their career, and every one of these games is a bloodbath. It's tough, it's physical, and this game is not going to be any different tonight.
All right, well, we've been keeping our eye on the playoff picture. It seems like it's changed every 5 seconds. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the result in New England kept Pittsburgh alive going into tonight, but it also meant that the Dolphins lost their 5th straight, which is what matters most to me right now, Coach.
It really does. Thanksgiving weekend, Dolphins had won 5 in a row. They were cruising, but their offense is quarterback-driven, and they're not getting good quarterback play. Teddy Bridgewater got hurt today. Dolphins are in trouble.
Coach, all of a sudden the race for the #1 seed in the NFC is wide open. We've been banging the drum for the Eagles all year long. With 2 straight losses, they're in trouble. A must-win game next week against the Giants. The impact of that guy, Jalen Hurts, him being out has been significant.
We're going to break it down here on the show, but how about the Lions?
Lions, baby.
I'm going positive, guys. They rolled over the Bears. Jared Goff's 8th straight game without throwing an interception. The Lions have now won 7 of their last 9, are still alive in the NFC wildcard race. They need a little help. But we're talking playoffs and we're talking
Restore
Lions.
the roar,
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Chris, what are you talking about going into the night?
Well, you're talking playoffs, and we're talking giant football, which means playoffs, baby. That's right. Daniel Dimes, all right? Daniel Jones. Precision passing, smart decisions, and then what you see right here. His legs with the quarterback design run. Great job today of beating the Colts, and this is why the Giants are in the playoffs. We got something working in the AFC North. Amari Cooper pretty much ended the Commanders' chance of being in the NFC playoff picture today. Deshaun Watson found him twice for 2 big touchdown scores late in the game. That one puts it away. Way to go, Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson. Then, hey, it's January. Guess what? Yeah, we're talking about the GOAT. It's Tom Brady time. And, yeah, not once, not twice, but let's maybe at some point double team Mike Evans. Because last time I checked Brady's kind of good. All right, so you got to watch out for him, Maria. Back over to you.
All right, love it, Chris. So the Bucs win and clinch a playoff spot. Steve Kornacki, welcome back. That doesn't mean Carolina's chances are over, right?
Yeah, that's Carolina, one of 10 teams that came in today potentially facing elimination from the playoff race. Obviously, they are now out of it. The Buccaneers winning. The Buccaneers are now clinched. They're in the playoffs. Who else else goes down today? Well, unless there is a miracle in Green Bay for Minnesota. Minnesota is trailing by 31 points with 7 minutes to go. Unless Minnesota somehow wins that game, see you later, New Orleans. Goodbye, Washington. You're both out of the playoff race. And the Jets, in the final 2 minutes, they are down 17 points in Seattle. Unless they somehow reverse that, the Jets are out too. The Raiders are in a dogfight late against the Niners. If the Raiders lose, they will be out as well. The big winners on the day, hey, the Pats move into the 7th spot in the AFC. Good luck, though, holding on to that. They got to do a win in Buffalo next week if they're going to hang on to the 7th spot. And then there is the team we are going to see tonight, the Steelers. They came into today with a 2% chance of making the playoffs. They needed a lot of things to break their way today, and so far they are. The Steelers needed the Patriots to beat Miami. It happened. They needed Seattle to beat the Jets. It looks like it's going to happen. They need to win their game against Baltimore tonight. Then they need to beat Cleveland in the finale next week. If they do that, this is all that would be left for the Steelers to make the playoffs. These two things. One, the Bills beat the Patriots at home next week. And two, the Jets beat Miami with a very questionable quarterback situation next week. If those two things happen on top of the Steelers winning out, the Steelers make the playoffs.
Whoa, what an excellent breakdown. A lot has to go good, but the football gods could be smiling on the Steelers. We are smiling on Baltimore, where Jack Collinsworth and Rodney Harrison are taking in the scene for Sunday Night Football.
The easiest way to put it, whether you're wearing khakis or not, the Steelers never go away. Hot Rod. These two cities, they live for nights just like this one, don't they?
Both coaches are talking about, Coach Jason Garrett and Tony Dungy talking about how physical it's going to be. They don't hit anybody, but it is going to be a very physical game.
And this is your time of the year where defensive football, it can become the headline. So who might be proof of that tonight?
Games like this, you want your best defensive players to step up, and for the Ravens, it's Roquan Smith. He was a missing piece on this defense, and he's got tremendous instincts. He's smart, and one thing we know about him, he can go from sideline to sideline. But on the other side of the ball, you look at Cameron Hayward, 33 years old, 12 years in the league. He's an absolute stud. He's playing on an all-pro level, and you just see the push. He's going to have a big game tonight in the run game, not just in the pass game, but pushing that pocket.
And that New England win, right? You just heard Steve say it. It gives the Steelers a shot of life. You better believe they're well aware of what occurred. Do you have any belief in this New England Patriot team?
I believe in their defense. They can get after the quarterback. Matthew Judon should have Defensive Player of the Year consideration, but I can't trust that offense. Mac Jones looks frustrated. He looks unhappy. I don't trust that offense.
One thing we can all believe in, this right here, one of the meanest rivalries anywhere in the NFL.
And one of the best venues.
And one of the best fan bases around. They live for it. We got the Ravens. We got the Steelers. Physical football on Sunday night.
He fought off the defender.
And this long pass.
Great pass by rookie George Pickens. Man, it's got Pickens to Pickens.
Like, there was frustration with George Pickens.
That competitive spirit, the guy that wants the ball, I want that guy.
Hot Rod, it's a great weekend for Georgia Bulldogs like Maria Taylor, I'll tell you that. And nobody identifies high-value prospects at wide receiver better than Mike Tomlin. Got his start as a wide receiver coach back in the day, and Tomlin seems like he hit big with this second-round pick. How about that, the value right there in Pickens?
I think this young man is the steal of the draft. He reminds me of one of my former teammates and Hall of Famer Randy Moss, because he's big, he's long, and he makes a lot of big plays. And the thing about him is, when the ball is in the air, he feels like he's going up to get it. And this is just all-pro cornerback Marlon Humphreys. This is a guy that has a $100 million contract, and this kid just truly believes in himself. They throw it up. He's big, he's strong, he keeps the ball away, and he's treating Marlon Humphreys like he's the rookie.
I'm right there with you, Rod. I had to flip you my microphone. That's what teammates do.
It went out. That's what we do, man.
Anytime I flip it right there, too. And you think about it, this is a rookie wide receiver working with a rookie quarterback, and those quarterbacks have rotated, too, so that's a lot of success.
He's a special player.
In a very difficult environment right there for Pickens. We'll send it back into Maria Taylor. Maria, your mic working back there in the studio?
Hey, so far so good. I'm glad you actually helped Rodney out and allowed him to continue talking. But back in here, let's have a conversation about the guy who's throwing the ball to Pickens, and that's Kenny Pickett. He's 5-5 as a starter, but remember, he was knocked out in the original matchup on December 11th. But what is the approach that the Steelers should take in continuing to help him operate this offense?
Maria, one of the best things you can do for a young quarterback is create first option throws. He's at the line of scrimmage, he looks at the defense, and when the ball snapped, he knows exactly where he's going with the football. And that's what Pittsburgh has done here with Kenny Pickett, and he's done a good job executing these plays.
No doubt, Jason Garrett. I mean, he's accurate, he's a good decision maker. And then, Coach, when you're talking about, hey, you stop these short passes, that's when he takes a shot downfield to one of his speed burners, Coach Dungy.
I actually saw Mike Tomlin at the Indianapolis game, Monday night game, and he told me he is loving Kenny Pickett's decision making, and he's getting more and more comfortable putting the ball in his hands.
All right, we'll see what the rookie has to offer for us here on Sunday Night Football. But, guys, we got another team eliminated from playoff contention. The Seahawks and Jets game just gone final. Seahawks win it 23-6. So now the Jets have failed to reach the playoff for their 12th straight season. That's the longest streak in the NFL.
Wow, way to go. I mean, the Seahawks played great today. Geno looked really good.
Threw for 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks stay alive, and we'll get you more caught up on the highlights when we come back. So we don't know the exact TV schedule for Week 18, but it kicks off on Saturday with a doubleheader on ESPN and ABC, followed by a full Sunday slate of games on CBS, Fox, and right here, of course, on NBC. So stay tuned tomorrow for the announcement of the full schedule. Now let's get you back to some highlights. Jags will be playing for a division against the Titans next week, but they were in Houston today. Trevor Lawrence leading the Jags out of the tunnel. And for their 5th straight win, second quarter, Travis Etienne, that's 52 yards.
Yeah, the Jags had great balance all day long. Etienne was explosive throughout. Trevor Lawrence was clean in his execution. These guys are playing for the AFC South Championship next week.
Which explains why Trevor Lawrence got to just rest the entire second half. Okay, that's what you get to do. Yeah, get on the sideline. All right, Jerry Rossberg taking over as Denver's interim head coach after Nathaniel Hackett was fired, and Patrick Mahomes, being Patrick Mahomes, looking for Blake Bell.
A little more fight out of Denver today, and sloppy play by Kansas City, but of course they make the plays when they need.
That's right. Frustrate me and Coach every week.
They do. Just when y'all want them to learn a lesson. This happens late in the 4th, facing 4th down. Russell Wilson is sacked by Chris Jones.
Yeah, we need a play. We got to stop him. Chris Jones comes up with the sack and ends it, but 27-24 wasn't impressive by Kansas City today.
Not at all.
They will clinch the #1 seed with the win in Week 18 and 1 Buffalo loss, so they could still grab that 1 seed. Saints taking on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts missing his 2nd straight game with that sprained shoulder. 3rd quarter we go. The Eagles trailing 13-3. Gardner Minshew is in, and he's looking for A.J. Brown.
Yeah, this is one of the few bright spots of the day. They do miss Jalen Hurts, there's no doubt. But one-on-one coverage here, and you're thinking, okay, maybe this will get the Eagles back on track and make this a football game. But they had a hard time finding rhythm on the offensive side of the ball all day, Maria.
Yeah, you're right. That was probably the one play that we can circle. That was great, a 78-yard touchdown, but the 4th quarter, Minshew's pass intercepted.
Yeah, that's one there. You got to kind of read the alignment of the corner. He was inside all the way, kind of see the throw there. Marshawn Lattimore, that's why he's pretty big time.
Yeah, he missed the last 10 games, but grabs that interception, which is huge. But you saw Jalen Hurts there sitting on the sideline. He's missed 2 straight games, but I think we're realizing the value that he has in this offense. I mean, what can you say that it equals?
Well, he makes great throws. He's a great runner, but even more than that, when he's in there, there's only certain things you can do on defense. There's coverages you can't play.
Right.
It helps the run game. He is very, very valuable to them.
His impact pervasive throughout the team. The running game is better because he runs it.
Right.
But they also have the threat of his running. The defense is better. The time of possession, they're among the best in the league. New Orleans had the ball for over 37 minutes today.
Yeah, you don't
makes
see
a
that,
big difference.
You're right. You don't see that happen to the Eagles. And coaches are right. You know, his ability to run, then what's that do? It makes you play man-to-man, and now it's Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Right. And then he's the get-out-of-jail-free card. Anytime you cover all that up, he runs around and scrambles for 30 yards. So that's where he is really, really valuable.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has 13 rushing touchdowns on the season. That's tied for 2nd in the NFL, and he's missed 2 games. All right, let's go back to the Broncos and bring in Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Mike, like we said, obviously Nathaniel Hackett is out, but what is the latest on their coaching search?
Well, the Broncos want a coach with head coaching experience, and I'm told that in recent days they have reached out to Michigan coach and former 49ers coach Jim Harbaugh to let him know that they're interested in talking to him. He interviewed for the Vikings job last year, and after that didn't work out, he said he's done pursuing NFL jobs. But he's also referred to his failure to win a Super Bowl with the 49ers as unfinished business. His buyout is only $3 million to get out of the Michigan contract, and he knows Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson very well from their time competing against each other in the same division 2012, 2013, and 2014.
An interesting storyline to follow there. Jim Harbaugh back in the league.
Not shocking.
TJ Watt.
Everywhere he's been.
Yeah. Checking in with some of the fans. We'll see if he has a big night.
Watt.
Yes, on the defensive side for the Steelers tonight.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Couple tough blue-collar cities that celebrate smash-mouth football, and it helps to have top-shelf tight ends on both sides for Baltimore areas. Mark Andrews, the best pass-catching option, but Pittsburgh, they defended him pretty well back in round number 1.
Yeah, Mark, you know they're going to run the football 35 to 40 times tonight, but they can't forget about their tight end. He's their best player. And you look at Mark Andrews, he's 6'5", 250 pounds, and I think people sleep on his skills. He's going against Atlanta's #1 corner, and just look at the speed. He leads this 190-pound corner. He leads him by 2 yards. Not many safeties, not many linebackers can guard this guy.
He's going to have to identify Minkah Fitzpatrick as well. Already got 5 picks on the year. He's a player I know. He's had your respect going all the way back to college at Alabama.
Minkah Fitzpatrick is the best free safety in all of football, and what I love about him is his versatility. And I love the way they're playing him. Close to the line, they're blitzing him. He's all over the field. Looking forward to seeing him.
You also got that pass rush as well. You think about since TJ Watt, that return back in Week 10, top 5 scoring defense they are, and no defense has given up fewer yards than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're playing some D right there.
That's what it's about, baby. Let's see it.
Into you, Maria.
All right, we're going to get you caught up on more highlights. Panthers taking on the Buccaneers. NFC South title on the line. To the fourth quarter we go with the Panthers up 4, Coach. Panthers were smooth sailing in the beginning.
They really were playing well, under control. Sam Darnold here gets them out to the lead, and it looks like there's smooth sailing.
But then there's someone named Tom Brady, and he has a friend. His name is Mike Evans.
And he goes deep on the right side of the field. I don't think Carolina realized this.
Yeah, Coach Dungy would have been pulling his hair out if he had any, because we saw more than one of these shots down the sideline. That one was for 57 yards. Deja vu, less than 7 minutes to go.
Okay, let's try it again. Just throw to Mike Evans deep down the right sideline.
30-yard touchdown is good. That's his 3rd of the game. And then ensuing Panthers drive, Darnold is stripped. The Bucs will recover.
Bucs defense came through today. They had a struggle in Carolina, but played much better defense today.
So that takeaway led to a Bucs touchdown. Then a scary moment for the Bucs fans. Less than a minute remaining. Bucs up to punt. Bad snap, Coach.
And this is a huge play to be able to get out of trouble, get this ball off. This actually saved Tampa.
Yeah, Jake Camarda, how about that? You are the savior of the Buccaneers. Let's hear from the head coach, Todd Bowles.
Every year, you try to win the division, and we won the division. Doesn't matter how you win the division. My heart ain't got much left in it, but I feel great. We're at one spot we need to be. We can't get to where we want to be unless we win the division. We won the division.
How are you going to celebrate?
I got 1% milk, and I got a bag of Chip Ahoy cookies. That's my go-to.
I really didn't know they made 1% milk.
That's how I used to celebrate.
Is that how you used to celebrate for real? Oh, that's so cute. Forget alcohol. We got cookies and milk. Let's go. And forget everything else, because the Buccaneers, they have Tom Brady and Mike Evans. And coming into the day, Coach, he had only caught 3 touchdowns in 14 games. 3 in today's game. I mean, what changed?
Well, this is the formula that they rode to the Super Bowl. Good defense, getting big plays, and the passing game being explosive. Mike Evans had been quiet, but it was deep balls time after time after time, and Mike can go get the deep balls. Tom can still throw the deep ball, Jason.
Hey, Coach, we talked earlier about young quarterbacks liking first option throws. When that guy, Mike Evans, is out there by himself, it's a first option throw, and he cut it loose 3 times to him. Brady was dropping down the stovepipe. Nobody does it better than those 2 guys.
Yeah, touchdowns of 63 yards, 57 yards, and 30 yards. So impressive. But not only the offense having a great day, also the Buccaneers defense came up big, Chris.
Yes, they did. I mean, you want to talk about some guys who ate a lot of cookies and milk? Some of these defensive linemen, all right, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, certainly. I think that's one of the things we're seeing from the Todd Bowles defense here down the stretch. They're getting healthy in the secondary and up front. And Carolina, who dominated in the run game in the first matchup today, Levante David shooting gaps. Look at all the guys here, right? There's guys getting off blocks, nowhere for the running back to run, and then the pass rush is starting to deliver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, getting the big strip sack there on Sam Darnold. Maria, it's a total team thing. We know they got Brady. Defense is going good too.
All right, it is time now for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. Mike Florio, maybe the biggest play in the NFC South all year, came from a punter.
Yeah, and I spoke to Jake Camarda after that moment, and I told him you were the savior of the game, and he downplayed that. He didn't want any of the credit. It was a total team effort. All the cliches you always hear when somebody does something really exciting. And when he moved to the right side, on that play, that's something he did punting from time to time at college, the rugby punt that we see at the college level from time to time. So he was experienced at making that kick on the move. And I asked him, why did you go left to the short side of the field instead of right? He said, I honestly don't remember. It was all instinct. And one last point, where's that football? You got to put that football on the mantle. That football's got to be bronzed and placed somewhere. He said it went right back in the bag. The focus is going forward, not looking backward.
All right, I love it, Jake. You won the NFC South. Keep looking forward. Meanwhile, the Steelers looking to keep their hopes alive. Kenny Pickett, the rookie drafted in the first round, is 5-5 as a starter, knocked out of the Week 14 matchup against Baltimore. Looking for a little bit of revenge here on the road.
I'm causing mayhem.
Sunday Night Mayhem, presented by Allstate.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens do battle on Sunday Night Football.
Can't be defeated.
Let's go! Colomano, huge play. It's as physical as it gets.
Oh my gosh, look at his nose.
Are you ready to take?
Tomlin is essentially on the field here.
Breaks the plane! Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Football Night in America continues from the field at M&T Bank Stadium. You see Tyler Huntley, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, making his fourth start, replacing his old high school buddy from South Florida, Lamar Jackson. He did this for 4 games last year. Not as successful in terms of putting up points. Huntley and the Ravens offense only 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games, so they are searching for more of that, and that would have to come with a boost in the passing game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, for whom everything has gone right today. The teams that needed to lose, Miami and the Jets lost. The Raiders, I should say, were just eliminated, but the Steelers still somehow have life as they enter the latest chapter in what is as good a rivalry as the NFL has, the Steelers and the Ravens. And one keynote in this game, a guy who's been a part of a lot of these, Calais Campbell, inactive for the Ravens with injury, important in a game where every yard and every tackle means a lot. See you for kickoff shortly. Now back to the studio. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Mike. Appreciate it. Yeah, Calais Campbell, 36 tackles and 5.5 sacks so far this season. So you're right. That's a good note to make. Giants looking to clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Colts. Brian Daboll clapping them up. We got Aviators.
Way to go, G-Man. Let's go, baby.
We're feeling good. Second quarter, Colts down 11. Nick Foles is intercepted.
Oh, we're feeling really good now. That's right. This is Giant football. They won it with defense, run game, efficient passing. Way to go, Landon Collins right there. Yeah. Big play.
52-yard pick 6. Third quarter, Giants up 21.
21. You believe that? And it's the 5-legged monster time. That's right. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, that field goal kicker. It is the typical Giants formula we saw all year.
Giants win, and they clinch a playoff berth for the first time since 2016. What say you, Brian Daboll?
What was the moment like for you when you got the Gatorade bath and kind of gave the crowd a fist pump there?
It was sticky and wet.
So it must have been the purple Gatorade he was talking about, okay, guys? The Browns taking on the Commanders. Second half, Deshaun Watson looking for Amari Cooper.
Look at this guy. Elite
you know
route
something about him, right?
I do.
You know
I love this guy. He's faster and stronger than you think. They can't tackle him. The run after catch is huge with this guy.
Okay, find something else great to say about him, because this is a 33-yard touchdown.
What else he got? Wide open, and he'll finish it too. I love Amari Cooper. Happy New Year, Coop.
Career high 9th touchdown catch of the season. And Washington will get back to what happened with Carson Wentz in this matchup. Bears taking on the Lions. DeAndre Swift looking to score on a 17-yard touchdown run.
Detroit's offense has been explosive all year. They continued that today against the Bears defense that wasn't very good today.
Jared Goff, his 8th straight game without an interception, looking for Brock Wright.
Just big plays, and they're in the playoff.
Yeah, doing whatever they want right there on offense. They did whatever they wanted today, Jared Goff and company.
Since you say playoff hopes, Steve Kornacki, talk to us about the NFC wildcard race.
It is a wild card race here in the NFC. I mean, check this out. Washington comes into the day in the 7th spot with a 1-3 shot of making the playoffs. Not only do they fall out of the top 7, Washington has now been eliminated completely from the playoff hunt. But here is where it gets crazy. Seattle, with that win over the Jets, now replaces Washington in the number 7 spot, and you look at that and you say, well, Seattle's in the 7th spot. They got to play the Rams next week. Certainly a winnable game. Isn't that a better chance than 19% of making the playoffs? Well, here's why Seattle is in the 7th spot with only a 19% chance. Meanwhile, Green Bay is in the 9th spot with that big win over Minnesota. They got a 64% chance. It's because Green Bay plays Detroit next week. The game is at Lambeau. So if Green Bay wins that, they go to 9-8. Obviously, they would then jump Detroit in the standings. And even if Seattle beats the Rams next week, Seattle and Green Bay would have the same record. Green Bay's win next week would be a conference win. If they beat Detroit, it's an NFC win. And by winning another conference game, Green Bay would overtake Seattle in the tiebreaker. They would come down to conference record. Right now, Seattle has that advantage over Green Bay, but one more conference win for Green Bay, they get the tiebreaker. They jump Seattle. So it's Green Bay in 9th place right now that controls the path to the playoffs. Seattle would need to win next week and have Green Bay lose. Detroit would need to win next week and have Seattle lose. The only one with a clear path, believe it or not, it's Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
We should have known. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they were going to find a
inevitable. Just like he said.
I told you.
Rodgers in Lambeau with the playoffs on the line.
Right.
I think he might be okay.
Listen, we got the highlights of the Vikings and the Packers coming up, but I want to spend a little bit more time talking about the Washington Commanders, specifically the decision to start Carson Wentz. The offense mustered just 261 total yards. Wentz throws 3 interceptions. Let's just walk through the coaching decision to give him a start here, Coach.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson used to say in big games, it's not how many great plays you make, it's how few bad plays you make. And Carson, unfortunately, threw 3 interceptions, and they were difference-making plays for the Commanders in this game.
Yeah, they weren't getting great quarterback play the last month from Taylor Heineke, so I think this was a desperation move, and it just didn't pay off.
Seemed like it. It made us all scratch our head a little bit when Ron Rivera brought it up a few weeks ago, and then they kind of got beat at their own game today. You know, Cleveland ran the football. Cleveland's defense made the plays, and we saw Washington do that through their win streak, but it did seem like a little bit of a desperate move to go to Wentz in this situation.
Yeah, winless in the last 4 games. That's 3 straight losses right now for Washington. We are still waiting for our Sunday Night Football matchup. It's Week 17. It's history. It's rivalry. It's this football, according to Tony Dungy.
It will be physical.
This is what happens when we get together.
We've got the meats.
Defense, answer the call.
Hot knife through butter.
It's always magic here with you.
Down the middle, wide open. Touchdown.
This is what happens when we get together.
Do not relax. Reach the man. Get to the corner. Woo-hoo. Lunges. Touchdown, Ravens.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
We get together.
All right, it's Steelers-Ravens, so we're going with a defensive team with our jerseys, okay? Some of the best have played in this rivalry.
Well, it might be the best right there.
Best range ever.
Oh, it's another one.
It was everywhere.
Oh, my gosh. Preparing for that guy was the worst.
He's fizzled.
Oh, gosh. I was scared to get hit by him, Maria.
All right. Try to get this right. BetMGM breakdown, Chris. It's your turn.
All right, I'll try to do good here. I'm with my man Matthew Berry, as always. We're going to hit this game up a little bit. Neither offense is famous for big plays or a lot of points, that's for sure.
That's being kind.
That's being kind. Yes. But we have seen Kenny Pickett and this Steelers offense be kind of efficient. They got some weapons at receiver.
Yeah, including Deontay Johnson. So much has been made about he doesn't have any touchdowns, and I get it. But you know what? He does have a lot of receptions. He's had at least 5 receptions in 5 straight games, including 6 against these very Ravens in Week 14. Over that stretch, a 31% target share. He's a playmaker, Chris Sims, and the fact of the matter is that it's so hard to run against this Ravens run defense. 3rd best run defense in the NFL this year. The way they move the ball is through the air tonight.
I agree with you. The short passing game, Kenny Pickett, Deontay Johnson, because you said it right, Matthew Berry. Nobody really runs on the Ravens. First off, they're gigantic up front. They got tons of 300-pounders to clog up running lanes, and then they got 2 linebackers in Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith that are absolute ball hawks that just make it hard. I don't expect Najee Harris in that Steelers run game to have a big night. Now, we do see a lot of field goals in this game from time to time, and maybe the greatest field goal kicker of all time,
Justin Tucker. Oh, right. Justin Tucker. I never get to talk about field goal kickers, but you know what? These work. Give me at least 2 field goals for Justin Tucker. He's made 2 or more in 10 of the last 12. As you know, Steelers really good defense, especially in the red zone, and they're not scared to let Tucker kick it from almost anywhere.
Just about anywhere. That's right, yeah. Justin Tucker, hook 'em horns, all right? Now, new BetMGM customers can sign up and bet $10 on any NFL game to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with bonus code NBC150. Maria, back to you.
I love the energy for the kickers, Matthew Berry, but you cannot beat the energy of Pittsburgh fans. They're among some of the most passionate in the league. But one bar, thousands of miles away, brings Steeler Nation to a whole new level. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to La Botticella, a Steelers bar nestled in the heart of Rome, just a few blocks from the Vatican. It features everything from team photos, they've got signed jerseys, posters, even a statue affectionately referred to as Pittsburgh Jesus.
Love it.
We got in touch with the guy in charge who's been a Steelers fan since their dominance in the 70s.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Poggi. I own the only Steelers bar in Italy. We got the bell on the bar every time they score a touchdown, and it's always fun. People are very passionate, and when they come to Rome, and alcohol's involved, and everyone gets crazy. We show the games at any hour. I mean, even the 2 o'clock in the morning games, we'll stay open until 5, 6 in the morning. And if anyone wants to come to watch the game, they're more than welcome.
Grazie, Giovanni. Oh, take a look at this. This is like, it's almost 2 a.m. there in Italy. Yeah, and the terrible towels are out there waiting for their Steelers to take the field.
So good.
Pasta and meatballs and football? Sign me up. I'm there.
Steeler Nation travels.
Even at 3 in the morning?
I can do that.
Absolutely. Yes. We got to get one show from there next season. All right, let's talk about what all those Roman fans would like to see, and that would be the Steelers stop the Ravens run game. They were able to rush for 215 yards in the first meeting. What did you notice about that, Coach?
Well, I think it goes back to fundamentals, and Mike Tomlin felt that too. We mentioned he had a Friday practice in full pads because he understands that this game is going to be won and lost in this little box right here in that 5-yard area. Now, this is an illustration of what happened in the last game. This ball starts to the defensive right. That means that Miles Jack and nose tackle Cameron Hayward and the linebacker Devin Bush all have to keep their right hand free. If they do, they're going to be in good shape. The linebackers do, but Cam Hayward spins this way, and that's going to open up a running lane. Fundamental mistake by a veteran player. You can't do this against Baltimore. This happened over and over and over. Pittsburgh's got to erase that.
Hey, Coach, in an era where everybody wants to throw the ball and get out into space, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, he wants to run a medieval offense. That's what he calls it. A lot of big people in the game. They pull the guards. They pull the tackles. They hammer the line of scrimmage. That's what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, they're really well coached, to your point, Jason Garrett. In the run game. They're unbelievable. And then the Ravens, they got huge people up front, so they can move you. At Steelers, I got to think you got to sell out totally to stop the run tonight. Baltimore Ravens pass offense has not exactly been scary to opposing defenses.
That's fair. Tyler Huntley getting the start for Lamar Jackson, who is still out. All right, let's get back to the highlights. We got the Niners taking on the Raiders. Kyle Shanahan looking to lead the Raiders to a league-high 9th consecutive win. Third quarter, they trail 24-14, but Christian McCaffrey gets going.
Yeah, that's why they traded for this guy. He had a huge huge day, and he is the focal point of their offense right now, right, Coach?
Making plays for them.
Man, pass game and run game.
Tied up at 27, it's Jordan Mason. 14 yards.
Yeah, you get a break. You get to tackle that guy. That freight train running through a hole now. So 49ers run game was impressive. And now we got 2 minutes left, Maria. Jarrett Stidham time. And you know who he's looking for one-on-one.
Throw the ball.
Right. I know the moneymaker.
Devontae Adams for 45 yards. Jarrett Stidham stepping in, making his first career start after Derek Carr is benched.
He played great today. He really did a great job. In Week 17 against that defense, that was impressive by Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, we end up going into overtime in this one. Stidham's pass, though, here ends up being intercepted.
Yes. Well, you know what that's called? It's called Nick Bosa pushed the guy into my lap as I was throwing the football.
Going back to Adams again.
Exactly, one-on-one. It looked like he was going to have a shot, but the 49ers, they got so many good players across the board.
Yeah, that set up the 23-yard field goal. That's good by Robbie Gould. So the 49ers win. The Raiders ultimately eliminated from the playoffs with that 37-34 victory. Vikings taking on the Packers. Aaron Rodgers looking to keep the Packers playoff hopes alive. We didn't think we'd be here, but we are.
Playoffs?
Right. First quarter. Vikings down 7-3. Kirk Cousins looking for T.J. Hawkinson. Interception.
Yes, Justin Jefferson exploded against Green Bay last time. Jair Alexander, their corner, said it was a fluke. We're going to show it. And these guys showed up. Darnell Savage with a pick six here. Green Bay's secondary was outstanding today.
Yes, it was impressive. The Packers go up 14-3 on that play. To the second quarter we go. Cousins again looking for Jefferson, Coach.
One for Jefferson, and again, pressure. Adrian Amos here. Secondary on fire for Green Bay.
Jefferson obviously frustrated because you have to look at him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He did not see the ref. That came into his vision. I don't think he intentionally meant to do that.
Not at all. But the ensuing drive, Rodgers did intend to do this.
Yes.
He's been doing this.
Right there, and then quick release to Robert Tunyon.
Man.
Packers roll to their fourth straight win. They can clinch a playoff berth with the win against the Lions next week. Check this out. Okay, the comparison here. Week 1, 9 receptions for 184 yards. Jair Alexander said that's a fluke, Coach. Then, week 17, he has 1 reception. How about that? That's a career low for only 15 yards. Today, how'd he do it?
Well, when he said that, I'm saying, no, don't
be quiet.
Don't
make him mad.
He wanted this challenge, and he was up to it all day, man-to-man, little gritty.
It started early. Look at this.
Physical jams at the line of scrimmage, and they were on top of things. They frustrated Jefferson today.
Wow. Packers, I mean, Jair Alexander, the defense, what they're doing right now. I mean, that was just a total team performance. The run game, they returned a kick for a touchdown. The defense, it's funny, ever since they got their backs against the wall, they played their best football here lately.
Last 4 or 5 weeks, takeaways. That's what Joe Barry's unit has gotten.
Oh, how about this, guys? San Francisco could jump to the 1 seed. And actually, now that we have Green Bay, they started 4-8, and then they went 8-8. And we're talking about them actually making it into the playoffs as
crazy.
well. Everything that we thought was true has completely changed down the stretch of this season.
And Steve mentioned it to us. Next week, Green Bay home against Detroit, Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau. I don't bet, but I certainly wouldn't bet against that.
I wouldn't either.
And I still have some scars, but you don't want to play Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. We lost to him twice in the divisional round.
No catch rule
if they get hot,
either.
I'm telling you, you don't want them.
All right, so the Packers win, they clinch, and they are in. Taking a look now at the Steelers getting set to take on the Ravens. The historical matchup will bring us physical football on Sunday night.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
This is the 10th time that Harbs and I have played Sunday night ball together. He's an awesome dance partner.
It's all about the emotion. There's just nothing like this rivalry.
As I look at him right now, I feel I could have a chance to stay with him.
This place is on fire! Unbelievable! It is off to the AFC Championship game.
He was a quicker learner, I guess, you know. He was more talented. We're not going to get pushed around by this team.
Momentum is gone to the Baltimore Ravens side.
Pass intercepted at the 22-yard line. It is huge. Move on. Them boys over there, it's time to knock them out.
During the week, I'm saying, yeah, now's the time to play them.
Pittsburgh and Baltimore, you don't have to say a whole lot more.
So y'all bring the best out of us.
He's really one of the great coaches in football.
Get after that! Much respect, man.
So Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, they have danced 32 times, and Tomlin has the upper hand, winning 17 meetings, but everybody knows that slow dance becomes haymaker strikes in the center of the ring. Let's take you on the field, presented by Hyundai. The Ravens, they traded for Roquan Smith midseason, and it's elevated everything for that defense.
Absolutely. When he came in, he became the face of that defense. And you look at him on film, and even out here, he's going from sideline to sideline. He's an absolute stud, and he's the leader of that defense in a short period of time.
And for the Steelers' star-studded defensive front, they have Cam Hayward, the 8-time captain. He's created the most pressures for them defensively.
33 years old, 12 years in the league, and he's still playing on an all-pro level. It's going to be vital that he dominates the interior of that defense. And also T.J. Watt, you look at him. It's not going to be one of those games where you drop back 40 times. They're going to run the football, and he's got to play an integral part in stopping that run.
And Rodney, you were walking around all over the field talking to everybody. What'd you learn as these teams were getting set?
Well, I went up to Coach Harbaugh, and I said, your biggest concern tonight, Coach? And he said, my quarterback. So I think it's going to be a lot of running the football tonight.
Simple statement. Says a lot about how they're going to call this game. How about when Patrick Ricard came over? 300-pound fullback. Gives you some idea why they might match personnel.
325 pounds because he's got pads on. This is the biggest skilled guy that I've ever seen in an NFL uniform. He is huge.
Maria looked like an offensive lineman coming over to say hello. Back into you.
Jack and Rodney, just say you're small, because I wouldn't have felt the same way if it came up to me. Rams taking on the Chargers. Let's go. Second quarter, Chargers up 7-3. It's Austin Eckler going in for a TD.
Maria, does anybody in the NFL find the end zone better than Austin Eckler? He was fantastic. Herbert was efficient. The defense is getting better. The Chargers rolled.
Yeah, they would move to a 5 seed with the win next week and a Baltimore loss. They get the victory 31-10. Jets taking on the Seahawks. Chris, Geno Smith facing his former team. He spent his first 4 seasons with the Jets, and first drive of the game, look what he does.
Oh, they came out firing. Big run by Kenneth Walker. 2 plays later, touchdown pass. He's getting his payback against the Jets, Maria.
Yeah, that one to Colby Parkinson, and that was good for a 12-yard touchdown. Second quarter, Smith to Tyler Mabry.
Yeah, good, quick decision, accurate throw, gets the ball in the tight end's hand. He gets upfield, touchdown.
Now remember,
Seattle controlling this game, really.
Remember, Chris, Mike White's returning from a rib injury that kept him out the last 2 weeks. The Jets are really trying to rally here in the fourth, but White ends up being intercepted.
Yeah, offense was all over the place. And Mike White is a tough situation for him to be in. Seattle's pass defense is good. They couldn't run the ball, protect all that well. Great job by Seattle winning this one at home.
Yeah, they clinch a playoff spot with a win in Week 18 and a Packers loss versus Detroit, and the Jets are eliminated from playoff contention. And remember, they have the longest streak missing the playoff in the NFL, haven't been since 2010. The Dolphins taking on New England. No Tua Tagovailoa. He's in concussion protocol. Teddy Bridgewater stepping in third quarter. This is a turning point, Coach.
Yeah, Teddy played well early, but this ball, he didn't see it. Chris Sims will break it down. Didn't read the coverage right. Pick 6, and everything changed on this play.
Yeah, Kyle Duggar will return it 39 yards for the TD. We would not see Teddy Bridgewater again after this. You can see him on the sidelines. He was dealing with a right finger injury. Would be replaced by Skylar Thompson. He's a rookie out of Kansas State. And Thompson's first drive looking for Tyreek Hill.
A little bit behind him. Great interception there. Good hands by Jones. But just the timing was off, and you could see when Teddy went out, the offense sputtered.
Yeah, and perfect timing, by the way, by Jonathan Jones. Check out that toe tap. That was a great catch by Jones. Later in the fourth quarter, let's go to Mac Jones. He's going to be searching for Jacoby Myers to put the Patriots up 23-14.
Good read. The defense wasn't set. Mac Jones just threw it out. Touchdown.
All right, the Pats can clinch a berth with the win at the Bills next week. How do you feel, Coach Belichick?
There was a New Year's resolution this year to get a win?
Yeah, sure.
My favorite thing is like the deep breath, and then yeah, sure, whatever. I'm just trying to win these games. Steve, we just went through a lot of highlights. There's a lot going on in the AFC wildcard race. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, there sure is. Look, if Miami had held on, Miami could have clinched a playoff berth, but instead it's the Patriots who now move into that number 7 spot, but they are there very tenuously. As you mentioned, the Pats will go to Buffalo next week. It's a Buffalo team that no matter what happens tomorrow night will still not have locked up the number 1 seed. They will be playing with the number 1 seed on on the line. So Buffalo will be motivated. The Patriots will need to win that game. If they pull it out somehow, the Pats are in the playoffs. But that's why they only have a 38% chance, even though they're in the 7th spot. If the Pats lose to the Bills next week, then the Dolphins can still make the playoffs. All they would have to do is beat the New York Jets next week. Pats lost, Dolphins win, Dolphins are in. And if both the Pats and the Dolphins, with all those quarterback troubles, lose, it could open the door for the team you're going to see tonight, Pittsburgh. They moved to 15% with a win tonight. And if they beat Cleveland next week and get a little help, they're in.
Football God still smiling on the Steelers, but let's talk about the Dolphins being in trouble. They've lost 5 straight games, Coach, but I remember week 7 through 12, we were talking about Tua's back. He had won 5 straight games, and ever since then, everything's changed.
Yeah, they were playing outstanding football. This offense, though, it is quarterback-centered. Now, most offenses are, but this offense especially, a lot of RPOs, a lot of passing game, the ball's in the quarterback's hands, and right now they aren't getting great quarterback play.
And, Coach, you've been talking about all year long, they haven't been balanced. They haven't run the ball enough. When you get to the end of the season, these cold weather games, you need to be a more balanced team. And then when you lose your quarterback, Tua, you know, everything starts to fall apart. They have not been the same team here this last month.
Yeah, the second time this season we've seen a third-string quarterback and Skylar having to step in. Time now for the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Chris, break down that Patriots pick 6 we saw earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about the play Coach Dungy talked about here. And then what you're seeing here is a great disguise by the defensive coaches of the New England Patriots. You see here, for a quarterback, the way this alignment looks, all the people at the line of scrimmage, you're thinking this is an all-out blitz. But they're going to drop into a zone coverage, and you're going to have corners drop to safety, guys in the middle go to there, and then our man Kyle Duggar here, faking the blitz, going to drop down the middle into the famous Tampa 2 linebacker. Tony Dungy is you know it, Coach Dungy. And then the great job, not only with the disguise, but Duggar does a great job reading the quarterback's eyes, makes the appropriate play on the ball. This Patriots defense, you know, been making a lot of big plays as of late, helping a struggling offense, Maria.
Yeah, it was certainly impressive. And speaking of that struggling offense, we obviously saw Teddy Bridgewater going out. What is his status moving forward, Mike Florio?
Well, it's believed that Teddy Bridgewater has a broken finger on his right hand, his throwing hand. Tua Tagovailoa in the concussion protocol. It's not believed he'll be ready to go next week, but that's in the hands of the doctor, so it would be Skylar Thompson. And on that Tua Tagovailoa concussion from last week, it happened during the game. No one knew about it until the next day, and that may prompt some discussions in the offseason about potential changes to the protocol. And both the league and the NFL Players Association realize they need to keep encouraging players to self-report. That is one of the biggest challenges because most players do not want to come out of the game. They're going to continue to urge players to be sensitive to their own symptoms and ready to say something when necessary.
Thanks for the update, Mike. And now it's time for the Sunday Night 7, $100,000 jackpot. Matthew, how many total yards and touchdowns for Najee Harris?
Yeah, I think he struggles. You heard me and Chris Sims talk earlier in the show about how good this Ravens run defense is. In fact, since week 8, Baltimore has allowed 80 or more total yards to a running back only 3 times. So the option I want on Sunday Night 7 for Najee Harris is that 65 to 79 range. They also want to know how many touchdowns for Najee Harris. I'm going to say 0. Since week 8, Ravens have allowed only 3 total touchdowns to running backs. When we come back, Football Night in America gives you the best of a crazy Week 17.
To the best of Week 17, brought to you by MetaQuest. Start us off, Tony.
San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy playing outstanding. Great defensive effort. Christian McCaffrey igniting their offense. Can they win their 10th straight next week and possibly get to the #1 seed?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've got questions, though, Tony, for the Miami Dolphins because they ended up losing their 5th straight here in Week 17. They also lost Teddy Bridgewater, and we also saw the Eagles giving up a chance to clinch that 1 seed in the NFC. So we got 2 teams that are just struggling to close out this season, and you wanted to see the Dolphins end up on the right side with their backup quarterbacks, but it didn't quite work out for the Dolphins. But it does mean that the Steelers get to stay alive here. Congratulations, Pittsburgh fans.
Yes.
Maria, don't forget about the New York Giants, the G-men, Danny Dimes and company, Saquon Barkley. Defense played good today. They're in the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Way to go, Dayball and Danny Dimes.
Way to go, DJ. And how about this guy? I've been talking about the old guard all year long. The greatest to ever do it, Tom Brady, was on fire today. And there's that guy who plays up there in Green Bay telling everybody to relax. The Packers are in the hunt. Brady wins the division. Rodgers sets up a winning in. Wow.
That was the best of Week 17 brought to you by MetaQuest. Wish for extraordinary. Let's hear from that guy, Aaron Rodgers, that JG was talking about.
We're becoming a more dangerous team, and we've all seen some of the commentary outside as we went from 4-8 to 5-8 to 6-8, and nobody's worried about the Packers and blah 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 blah. Now, what are you going to say?
Well, what I'm going to say is that defense, the last 4 weeks, getting the takeaways, setting up short fields, and Rodgers and company taking advantage of it.
Did Belichick and Rodgers go to the same press conference school? I mean, that same monotone. Yeah, it's great to see what they've done. It was a team effort today. Kickoff return, interception return. The offense got going. Good to see them in the hunt.
Yep, now the Packers can clinch a playoff spot with the win against the Detroit Lions next week, so we'll all be tuned in. Time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. Let's start with Jack and America's pick.
Well, Maria, 56% of the country on the Ravens, the home team. New England's win. It'll have Pittsburgh looking for a fight. Both teams evenly matched with the Steelers. They have everything on the line. It's time for Kenny Pickett to take that next step. I'm taking the Steelers, right?
For me, I'm going with these players told me, man, they're going to sell out to stop the run. They want to win this for Mike Tomlin. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maria?
They were loose out there.
Mike Florio, right?
Mike Florio,
okay.
Always loose. Into you, Florio.
Hey, guys, look, I made a New Year's resolution this year. It's the same one I made the last 50 years. It's never give up on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, baby, over the Ravens.
I thought for sure, Mike Florio, that everyone would be taking the Ravens because I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Listen, in a defensive battle, give me the guy that has the team has the most playmakers. Give me Pittsburgh, Chris Sims.
Hey, I'm going to go Pittsburgh as well. They're desperate. They're not in the playoffs. The Ravens are. And I think the short passing game of Kenny Pickett is going to get it done.
I'm going Ravens because we cannot go chalk again. I won't allow it to happen.
Hey,
JG?
I'm right with you. The Ravens are going to run it, and run it again, and they're going to run their way to a victory. I take the Ravens.
Well, the first game in Week 14, Kenny Pickett got hurt. Backup quarterback Trubisky comes in, 3 interceptions, blocked field goal, and they still only lost by 3 points. So I'm taking Pittsburgh. I think they'll come out of it today.
Once a Steeler, always a Steeler.
I know. You can't let it go. That's what we expected. Those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. The Steelers looking to keep their playoff hopes alive against the Ravens. We've got Mike, Chris, and Melissa with the call. We'll see you at halftime.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.